Okay, here's another pig heart, which is much bigger than a human heart, but it works good for observation. And the two atriums at the top, here's one, and where's the other atrium? I believe it's here. So this looks like the left atrium, and this one looks like the right atrium. And you can see that there's a little bit of hematoma here where this pig has gotten blood to the outside of the heart where it's been damaged somewhat. And you can see this is the base up at the top. There's the aorta. I see 1, 2, 3 aortic veins. And then here is the pulmonary artery that goes to the lungs. And let's open this little guy up and see what's inside. So you can see how thick this wall is of this ventricle. This ventricle has to work so much harder than the other side because it has to pump blood all the way through the whole body. So this is the left ventricle wall, and you can feel it. The muscle is harder there than it is here. Now you can also see a few little valves here. The heart has 4 valves. It has the pulmonary valve, which goes to the lungs, and it has the tricuspid valve, which goes to the right ventricle. Now both of those are on the right side of the heart. They're over here. The left side of the heart has the mitral valve, where blood comes down from the lungs into the ventricle, and it also has the aortic valve, and that goes up into the aorta. Now the aortic valve and the pulmonary valve, they look kind of like tennis balls with 3 little slits in it, and that keeps blood from backing up. The mitral valves and the tricuspid valves have strings in them. And if you look, you can see a valve right here. And this keeps the blood, where these fill up right here. I don't know if you can see that, but this keeps the blood from backing up because those little pockets fill with blood when it closes. So this one here is most likely the tricuspid valve, I think. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure it is. Now this down here, these are what they call heartstrings. Here you can see it really good. Some of you may have heard that saying, "You're pulling on my heartstrings." Well, those are actually tendons inside valves, and they tighten up when we get scared or if we fall in love and our heart starts beating, and those are called heartstrings right there. So that's our second heart that I opened up. You can see that beautiful pulmonary artery. Arteries go out of the heart, veins go in. Arteries are really thick. They're not as thin walled as veins. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. And then I'm going to show you some goat hearts. Now these are 2 goat hearts, and you can see how much smaller they are than the pig hearts. I'll put the pig heart next to it so you can see the difference in size. And goats are pretty big. My goats, oh my goodness, they weigh well over 150 pounds. And these hearts transport blood to the entire animal. Now you can see the aortic valves up at the base, the top of the heart. Here's the apex, that's the bottom of the heart. You can see coronary arteries coming through the outside. Now, Goat hearts are kind of strange because they have a little slit there, and I think that might be a superior vena cava, because when I follow it with my finger, it looks like it's going to the right atrium. So that's possible, but I'm not an expert on goat hearts, and their anatomy is a little bit different than humans. But you can definitely see that this is the left ventricle, or as I told my students, the bottom left room. And the job of the left ventricle is to push the blood up and out through the aorta into the rest of the body. Here's the right ventricle, the bottom room, and its job is to push blood to the lungs. And there's an atrium right there, and there's the atrium right there. And atriums receive blood. So here's two beautiful pig heart or goat hearts, and we've been looking at them all week. So I'm very happy to put them to rest once and for all. They've done their job. They did a great job this week in the lab, but now it's time for them to go to their final resting place. I might go ahead and cook them up and give them to my Great Pyrenees dogs. I'm sure the dogs would love to eat goat heart. And hearts are just muscles, so they probably don't taste a whole lot different than a steak. This heart right here is a pig heart that I purchased from Carolina Biological, and I'm going to attempt to follow some of these veins and arteries to their core, to where they start. Now, if you look at this heart, at the base, at the top, you can see that these are arteries coming out of the top. So I'm assuming this is the aorta up here. And I believe this is the superior vena cava that goes into, should go into the right atrium. So, oh no, this is the superior vena cava right here, because this is going right into the right atrium. So we will follow that. I'll cut into that. And then let's see if we can find the pulmonary artery. Well, we'll look for that in a minute. Here's the coronary artery, beautiful coronary artery. There's the left ventricle, pumps blood to the entire pig. There's the right ventricle here, pumps blood to the lungs. And then the two atriums at the top are right here, here, and here. So let's open this pig up and see what we can find. Let me grab my scissors. Okay. I don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to give it a try. Okay, here, this is an atrium. So let's follow that down. Oh, sorry, an aorta. It's a big, look at the walls of this aorta. It's very thick. So you can tell that this is an artery, not a vein. So let's see where this goes. Okay, my scissors are doing pretty well. Maybe we'll even see the, okay, do you see in there? Okay, let's follow this and see where it goes. Okay, I think I'm seeing a valve right here. And that would be the tricuspid valve, if I've got this right. Okay. This is the inside of the right ventricle. Let me go down a little bit more. You can see the walls of the right, the walls of the right ventricle are not very thick, and right there is the tricuspid valve. This keeps the blood from backing up. Okay, so let's go a little deeper and see what we find. All right, you can really see that valve well now. Okay, so let's go from this left atrium, let's go down, and we should be able to see, I'm just going to go right through it. And this is really thick, and because it's in that preservative, it's not very easy. Oh, I just busted through something. It's not very easy to cut through this ventricle because it's very, very thick. All right, I think I'm getting through it. Go. Now, I have watched a lot of heart dissection videos, and there is more than one way to skin a cat. Some people dissect in layers and sections, and other people go through, oh, there you go. Look at that. That's a beautiful shot of the left ventricle. Look how thick that wall is of that left ventricle. And here you can see the mitral valve right here coming in from the atrium. And I'm wondering where the aortic valve is. I'm not sure, I'm not seeing it. But you can get a good glimpse of that left ventricle. So there's the left ventricle. See how thick the walls are? There's the right ventricle. A whole different puppy right there. That guy has very thin walls. There's the left atrium right there. Right atrium right there. They received the blood. This is the base of the heart where the aorta comes out. And the arteries that go to the whole body. And there you have it. That is this pig heart. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I bet you know a lot more about the heart now than you ever did.